Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory podcast here with Tad and Will, the Pro Football Podcast, where we cover all 32 teams all throughout the NFL all season long, bringing you extensive, inclusive, intense coverage. And we're here to talk about the NFL Munich game that took place in Week 10 out in Munich, Germany, or Deutschland, as the native Germans there say. So yeah, Carolina, they win this game 20-17. This game went into overtime, Tad. An early morning, pre-church game, if you will. Maybe you caught some solid takes of it. I myself caught the pretty end of it and some solid takes of it. Obviously, trying to get everything ready in the morning before all the other games, but yeah, still nonetheless, this was a game between the Panthers and the Giants where Bryce Young went out here and 15 of 25, 126 yards, a touchdown, no interception. Again, these are also two bottom tier offensive line units in the league between the Giants and the Panthers. But yeah, nonetheless, both of these offensive lines actually had a solid enough game against their respective defensive lines. So, only allowing one sack and two on the other side with Daniel Jones there. So, yeah, nonetheless, Bryce Young did throw a touchdown that, really got things fired up for the Panthers. In that moment when he threw the touchdown pass, he definitely felt like, wow, to me, it's just like, I'm just, even though he was bench Tad, I still can't help but be like a believer and a fan of Bryce Young. Would you say he's the starter now, or what's going on? Is he like quote the starting quarterback, or and how do you
They're
feel about it?
they're still seeing what they have with Bryce Young, as you should do. Obviously they benched him when things weren't working, and that was just a move that Canales felt that needed to happen to give the team a spark, to sort of basically send the message to the team that we're gonna try to win. We're gonna make moves that we think will win, and it seems that was the message to Bryce Young. And now with Bryce Young starting a couple games again, it seems like he's taken some positive lessons. He's not all the way there yet. This wasn't a phenomenal game. He only threw for 126 yards, but he did enough to win the game. He made the plays that you have to make. He didn't have any massive mistakes, no interceptions, no fumbles. So, I mean, a solid enough performance from a young, growing quarterback that he still needs to grow. There's still a long ways to go before he's going to be a high level quarterback that can be the franchise quarterback they've been hoping for. But we just need to keep seeing progress.
Yeah, Tad. Honestly, I feel like the MVP though of the NFL Munich game was Chuba Hubbard, who went out there
Yeah.
and put on a very prolific display of rushing in this game. The fourth year player out of Oklahoma State, the young developing running back who is really coming on. And in his fourth season now, he did 28 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown. And yeah,
Good game.
Tad, where would you rank Chuba Hubbard amongst the running backs, the starting running backs in the NFC?
Yeah, you see Hubbard, and he's coming off the big payday that he just got. He signed a big contract extension, so a big week for him, and then he backs it up on the field as well. I'd say at this point he's arguably slightly above average. So we'll see just how things go in that backfield. You got Hubbard, you got Miles Sanders. You also have Jonathan Brooks, who's the running back they drafted out of Texas. He hasn't played yet this year, coming back from his injury, but that's going to be an interesting piece when they get him back. But yeah, Chuba Hubbard's he's doing what he can to prove that he deserves some carries, and we'll just see how that keeps going. Big piece of the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Carolina to me proved in this game when they play as a team, they can do great things. And I mean, they have like solid pieces, So
Yeah.
I mean, Chuba Hubbard to me, he's like a very much a leader on that offense. Um, the receivers, I mean, not super flashy games there. Jalen Coker, 41 yards. Xavier Legette, 40 yards. David Moore. Um, so I mean, yeah, I mean, we're talking about Chuba Hubbard. He did have that fumble, but yeah, the defensive side of the football for Carolina, guys like J.C. Horn, of course, probably a very resounding leader. Ashawn Robinson had a very good game. Josie Jewell,
Huge
yeah,
game.
the linebacker out of Iowa. Um, I mean, he's in his you know sixth season now as a linebacker, former Denver Bronco. And I mean, yeah, to me, Tad, I look at Josie Jewell as a linebacker in the NFC, and I mean, I think a veteran, if nothing else. He's a very
Yeah.
solid linebacker at this point.
Had a big game, had the big interception, recovered a fumble on the game winning field goal drive in overtime. So he had a huge game. Also, a couple passes deflected. He's like you said, he's a veteran leader on this defense. I mean, well, he's a guy that you add in the offseason that makes you think maybe Carolina's going to try to win some games, and he proved very helpful in this football game.
Also, Jadeveon Clowney. I feel like Jadeveon Clowney's kind of like past his prime, if you will, at this point. But he is a seasoned veteran, if nothing else, for sure.
Certainly a seasoned veteran. It feels like his career has kind of been derailed a bit by major injuries that he's had both in college and in the pros, but he still goes out there, competes at a high level, does what he can. Of course, the tied a career high with 9.5 sacks with Baltimore a season ago. So now just gonna go out there, see what he can do. Only has 1 sack on the year in 8 games this year. So basically he's just trying to get back into the swing of things, it looks like.
I mean, just back to like just playing football, just doing
Yeah.
what he loves, right? For the New York Giants, yeah, Daniel Jones, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a lot to be desired there. I mean, yeah, you did have 90 yards, but I honestly feel like the best player on this offense was Tyrone Tracy Jr., 18 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, Tad, let's talk about Tyrone Tracy Jr. He did
Sure.
everything he could, the rookie out of Purdue, to help the Giants win this football game.
Yeah, he did everything he could aside from fumbling in overtime, but so that was a rough
I mean,
moment for him.
a rookie mistake, that I'm
Definitely a
sure he will
rookie
take back a
mistake.
few times.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a good play by the Carolina defense. I mean, they get some credit for that. Obviously, you're gonna fumble sometimes in the NFL. It happens, but overall,
I just don't think at that moment takes away from him, like as a player. I
no,
don't think it makes him
definitely
a worse
not.
player. It's just something unfortunate that happened, and he's got to learn
I'd
from it,
agree.
especially as a rookie.
He'll be fine. Like you said, not a lot to worry about with him, but yeah, had a big game, had the touchdown, 100 yards. Malik Neighbors 6 receptions, 50 yards. So yeah, Malik Neighbors, since the injury, it feels like he's not quite been as productive as he was at the start of the season, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing to see, Tad, because it's just
Yeah.
like, I mean, not only for the sake of my own fantasy team where I have him, and then just
Mhm.
like for the other sake of just like for the New York Giants, you kind of drafted him, the rookie out of LSU, to be a prolific and dynamic wide receiver for this team, and certainly was before the injury, but just hasn't been the same since, and it's unfortunate there.
Yeah. And some of that is they've been playing some better defenses the last month or so. I mean, Washington's a solid defense, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia.
Yeah,
And J.C. Horn is a great cornerback. Carolina as a whole, not a super flashy defense, but J.C. Horn's a tough matchup.
yeah, yeah. I mean, J.C. Horn definitely was locking down Malik Neighbors most of this game,
Yeah.
so a very prolific defender there. Uh, Yeah, so yeah, this game went to overtime. It didn't disappoint obviously the natives of Germany that go to this game, they don't really necessarily care about the records or anything. They're just happy to see
Mm.
a game of NFL football up close in their home country. So they weren't disappointed by how this game went. And I feel like despite these two teams having the records that they have, they went out there on the international stage and they, really put forth a great effort, to display what NFL football can be about.
Yes, absolutely. They definitely showed the worldwide community a quality game of football.
Panthers win 20-17. Next week, the Carolina Panthers. Let's see.
Bye.
They have a
They have
bye
a
week,
bye.
a late season bye, and then for the Giants,
Also a bye.
these two teams will have a bye. Makes sense after the Germany. You want to reaccustom. These two teams will get reaccustomed next week. So there you have it. Panthers Giants 20-17. The NFL Munich game. This is the Gridiron Glory.